and welcome back to the second edition of the Humpday Bogart special. This week I'm going to be talking about one of the first songs on the album called Classic Romance, which I briefly kind of talked about last time, which is based on the films Sabrina, Casablanca and The Big Sleep, because it happened to be the first one I wrote. I have to kind of put those all together. It's just the way I kind of started writing it. And the main idea around it is that, for me, all those films and a lot of the films at that time, I really love the romantic scenes. I will admit, I don't look like it, but I am quite a romantic, and I really like them. They're always really quite beautiful things and quite elegant, really, and sometimes quite simple. And in those three films, it really sticks out for me. And it's also one of the things it's my favourite thing about Bogey is his romantic scenes, which people don't normally kind of remember about him. They always remember him for his gangster roles and his detective roles, and even though these do happen in the detective films, but they always seem to remember him for being aggressive and cynical, which he is very good at. I mean, he can look as scary as anything in things like The Desperate Hours and The Roaring Twenties. He's exceptionally scary. But in these films, he has a way of looking at the actresses he's with like they're the only ones, and he's just completely absorbed by them and he adores them. And the thing is, in The Big Sleep, that's not fake, that's real, because he loves Lauren Bacall more than any other woman. And it's very sweet, because in photographs and videos outside of films, he's still doing it. When he's looking at Lauren Bacall, that's all real. So it kind of works very well with he was quoted as saying, acting is experience with something sweet behind it. And I always connect it with that, with him catching him on camera looking at Lauren Bacall, and she's just chatting away, and you can see him in a picture just taking her in, really. And so that's what the song's about. The little romantic scenes in Sabrina, it's the Bogey and Audrey Hepburn in like evening dress, and they're in an empty tennis court with champagne, dancing to kind of distant music. Or Casablanca, it's the bits when he's with Ingrid Bergman, trying to work out what to do, and she's all upset and they're just sat on a sofa. And then in The Big Sleep, it's like in the car when they're just driving, and they're really sweet. And I think that's where I kind of worked from. The first line that I got for the song was in the chorus, and it was from it's one of my favourite lines, is when Audrey Hepburn in Sabrina's talking about he should go to Paris, and the first thing he should do in Paris is, I'm paraphrasing, to find a load of rain, not just a little bit, just a load of rain, and then find a nice girl and put her in a taxi and drive her down I can't say it, it's French, but in a very nice part of Paris, and so then they can smell the chestnut trees when they're wet, and it's a very beautiful image. And so I think I got the line for the chorus, which is just a little gesture to love, driving through the rain in Paris. And sorry, I normally sing it, so it's very hard to say. And a little gesture to love is also a reference in Casablanca, when Captain Renault comes up and asks Rick why he's just helped the young couple on the gambling table to win money. And Bogey's character just says it's a gesture to love. So that's where I came up with that, and I work off the lines, and then actually I tend to get the chords first, and have a line or a word that I'm working around, and then it builds up from there. And then each time I do a verse, I think I generally need the melody and the chord, and then I just add the lines on and work on them. And the rest of the chorus is "It's La Vie en Rose," which is a Sabrina line. "Hey kid, it must show, I guess I'm in love with you," and "I guess I'm in love with you" is from The Big Sleep in the car, when they both kind of very nonchalantly tell each other that they love each other, which is rather sweet, really. And there's 3 verses, and I kind of look at it that each verse represents one of the films. The first being The Big Sleep, and then Sabrina, and then Casablanca. But it's about, in general, it's about escaping to those scenes. I know you've got to come back to reality at some point, but it's nice to escape into them for a while. I did find some of my notes. I realised I have a lot of little notes from my back pocket at work. It's always very difficult. Customers always come up when you're trying to write something. They'll stand there. It's like, I know I should be working, but this is more important. Well, that was a quote from Sabrina. "Don't reach for the moon, child. The moon is reaching for me." I didn't use that one in the end, I think. And yeah, I just adjusted lines from it. You can see where I've kind of scratched out. Oh, I'm not good with the camera. And I'll take some photos maybe, and it'll be easier for you to look at. And I adjusted them while I was at work, just trying to get the words exactly right. And there's odd bits and bobs in here that I have adjusted a word or two. And I forgot, actually looking back at these, that I had originally thought about calling it Bogart's Girl. And then when I started thinking about doing the whole album and wanting to name it after one of the other songs, which is Bogart's Eyes, that would be silly. And classic romance is the first word from the beginning of the song, so that worked out better. It was actually either going to be Bogart's Girls, Renegade, or Classic Romance. I don't know why I decided on those. And it's got actually the whole album I'm going for is trying to go for the Lexicon of Love by ABC. I'm trying to do a film noir version of that, or my own version of that. Probably not very well, but this one is probably more like the All of My Heart part of it, even though there is a couple more ballady kind of, well, one more ballady kind of song on here, 2 more, forget my own songs. And this is my little notepad, where I kind of, because it was one of the first ones I wrote, it was kind of, everything was kind of mixed up, so I wrote down a load of just names of Hollywood actors that I actually knew, like Grace Kelly, Gene Kelly, Cary Grant, and Humphrey Bogart, Audrey Hepburn, and Lauren Bacall on there. And I've written down a load of ones that I'm obviously wanting to watch, like How to Steal a Million, To Catch a Thief, That Touch of Mink. That's a very good one. Cary Grant and Doris Day. And then I've just written down all the bits I like about it. Oh, I forgot I tried to draw. For some reason I had that image. It's from in Sabrina, where they're about to... She doesn't want to go, and she doesn't want to tell him that she's going to miss Linus, who's Bogey's character. And she doesn't want him to turn the lights on for some reason. And I've got their names written up, and I've written, the worldview through rose-tinted glasses, which is what she says. And I've got a couple more, and then I just wrote down a load of words, really, that I wanted to use. Oh god, me and cameras. I'll take another picture of that and stick that up. And then I eventually kind of wrote it, and fiddled around with the chords. As you can see, I scribble a lot of scribbling. Well, that is kind of the first song, and then I will tell you about another one next week. I hope you like that, and I'll see you next week.